Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and talk about things that are going on and better explain what's going on and talk about things that I think that are being done right and or done wrong. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Brian Bauer, a sergeant with the Phoenix Police Department's Public Affairs Bureau. The information, audio, video, and pictures you are about to see are intended to provide details as we currently understand them of a critical incident that occurred on October 27, 2022. This video may contain strong language as well as graphic images, which could be disturbing to some people. Viewer discretion is advised. This incident began at a local convenience store in the area of 59th Avenue and Buckeye Road. Store surveillance video shows the officers walking through the store on their way back to their patrol car. Once outside, a man approaches the officers, talks with them as they make their way to their car. As the patrol car starts to back out of the parking space to respond to a call for service, the man pulls out a handgun. A shot goes off into the ground. The man then points the handgun at the officers in their car and fires one more shot. The bullet strikes the patrol car's spotlight and went into the driver's side A pillar. The man then runs into the occupied store, still holding the firearm. Here's a clip from the store security camera showing this encounter. Officers are seen entering the store with their weapons drawn, ordering the man to the ground. Here is the same encounter where you can see the man drop to his knees and put his hands into the air. Body-worn cameras are used by all officers assigned to patrol and several specialty units. Per policy, they are worn at mid-torso level and capture the view of line of sight from that perspective. It's important to note that the camera lens is fixed and does not capture everything seen or experienced by officers. When activated, both audio and video turn on. The body-worn camera has a buffer of video without audio for 30 seconds prior to activation. This feature is designed to capture incidents that happen suddenly where an officer doesn't immediately activate the camera. The Phoenix Police Department does not currently use in-car camera systems. Here is the body-worn camera from one of the officers showing them entering the store and taking the man into custody.
Get on the ground. Get on the fucking ground. Don't fucking move. Where's the gun at? Let me see your fucking hand. Where's the fucking gun? Stupid motherfucker. What the fuck's your problem?
Here is a portion from the second officer's body-worn camera, which is activated after the man was handcuffed.
We'll blow your fucking head off, dude. Where's the gun? It's right here. Is that where you left it? Or you guys put it?
No, he came in. I didn't know what he was talking about.
I don't have no problem with you guys.
Fuck you, dude. Don't fucking shoot at us.
Sorry, I was trying to shoot over you.
No, what the fuck is that, dude?
One of the clerks from the store took video of the arrest on her cell phone, which captures the use of physical force by officers during the arrest. Here is that cell phone video in its entirety.
Ground! Get on the ground! Get on the fucking ground! Don't fucking move! Where's the gun at? Let me see your fucking hand! Where's the fucking gun? Motherfucker! What the fuck's your problem? Before told me to go down and let's shut the store. Hey, can you shut it down? You know where it is, huh?
I don't know where he threw it at.
It's right here. Hey, don't fucking move, man! What the fuck is your problem?
Yes, one guy on like 59th Avenue, 202, just west. Yeah.
Check this one. Wait. Hey, I won't blow your fucking head off, dude.
Where's the gun?
Right here.
Right there on the counter right there.
Is that where you left it?
No, he came in, I didn't know what he was talking about. Hey, we need to...
Fuck you, dude. Go fucking shoot at us. No, what the fuck is that, dude?
Let's go fire this guy. Shut the fuck up!
Check this out.
He's like, go figure.
Check this out. Just check this out.
Let's get my glasses. Please, my glasses, please.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna shut it down right now. I had a gentleman where
The man received injuries during the arrest and was taken to a local hospital before being booked into jail. Both officers were uninjured. The officers involved in this incident are both assigned to the South Mountain Precinct. One of the officers has 6 years on the department, the other officer has less than 1 year on. This incident is the subject of an administrative and criminal investigation into the actions of the officers, as well as a separate criminal investigation into the man's actions. Both will be turned over to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office for review. Conclusions about whether the actions of the officers are consistent with the department policy and the law will not.
Okay, so this was an interesting one. So it starts out, these officers are at a convenience store. Now, what they're doing there, I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't seem like they're there on a call. They probably just went in to take a piss or get a drink or, buy a candy bar, something, right? Like, it's a convenience store. Like, they're probably buying something or just taking a piss. And then they come across this dude outside. Now, this dude is, let me bring up this article. His name is, where was it? Harry Denman, age 38. They don't talk about what it was that he was trying to talk to the officers about. I'll play that segment one more time, and then I'll talk about what I think is going on.
As the patrol car starts to back out of the parking space to respond to a call for service, the man pulls out a handgun. A shot goes off into the ground. The man then points the handgun at the officers in their car and fires one more shot. The bullet strikes the patrol at the shot goes parking.
So they're going to a call, but this guy is trying to talk to them about something. What is he trying to talk to them about? Based off their behaviors, how they're just continuing to get into the car and leave, it does not seem to me like this dude is talking about anything serious. It does not appear to me that he's telling them, hey, I just got robbed, or hey, I just got raped. Or else they would have stopped. What I think is going on is this guy's just talking shit. He's probably rambling on about a bunch of stupid shit, like I pay your salary, or you all are cop killer, or you're just cops who kill people, and you're murderous pigs. Maybe nothing like way over the top, but he's probably just talking shit in some way. And the reason why I think that is because they just continue walking away from this guy and getting in the car and leaving. Like, fuck you. Like, we're not sitting here to talk to you. And the reason why I think that that's probably what's going on is if it was anything serious, then they would have stopped. Even if they had a call to go on, they would have stopped and at least engaged with him. But there's just so many people out there who now feel emboldened. They feel empowered to go fuck with officers. Usually it's these First Amendment auditors that you will see. They'll get their little phone out and they'll start recording and have something going on, and they're baiting, right? Like they are baiting the officers into saying something so they can get into an argument, so they can prove their point, prove that the cops are wrong, the cops are stupid, whatever bullshit fucking reason they want. And I think that these officers are probably recognizing this dude's just running his fucking mouth. They probably think he's just one of those dudes who's just looking for an argument to try and prove them wrong or whatever. And they're just ignoring the fuck out of him. Like, whatever, dude, we ain't got time for your stupid fucking bullshit. We're gonna fucking leave. Bye. And I see nothing wrong with that overall. Because there are people like that, especially people who got their phones out. Now, obviously it didn't appear as though he had his phone out. Doesn't mean he wasn't recording in some way or anything like that. But especially for people who got that fucking phone out and you can tell that they're recording or whatever, and they want to bait you with some bullshit. Don't play into it. It's a fucking trap. All they're wanting to do is bait you into saying something stupid. Get you flustered. Get your emotions up a little bit. Try and get you to trip over your words or piss you off and capture it on film. And one of them may have experienced that before. They may have seen someone else have that experience, and they may have just said, you know what, we're not going to play games with these dumb fucks who are wanting to bait us. We're just going to ignore them and go on. For the most part, I think that's okay. Don't give them the attention that they're craving for. Don't play into their games. Let them go fuck with someone else. The problem with that, for some of those people, is it can empower them to raise the level a little bit more. So I don't know exactly what this guy was saying. He could have just said, y'all are a bunch of fucking baby killers, or, y'all kill black people for fun, or y'all are racist, you're Nazis, whatever. He could have been saying all kinds of stupid shit to them, and they're just like, yep, sure, whatever, we're leaving, bye. And he could have seen that as a sign of weakness. Like, oh, here I am talking shit to these police officers, and they ain't doing a damn thing about it. I'm in control now. I'm the alpha. They're little bitches. So by not responding to this guy in a certain kind of way, this guy could have felt empowered to take it to the level that he took it. Kind of like you think about school, right? Schoolhouse bully going down the hallway, pushes a kid, and then it escalates into pushing the kid into the locker more forcefully than when he just pushed him. And then it escalates to banging his head against the locker. And then it escalates into throwing him in the locker and closing the door when the victim does nothing at all but just takes it. What if the first time that bully pushed that kid and that kid turned around and knocked the fucking shit out of that bully or stood up to him? Do you think that bully would escalate those things to the point of stuffing that kid in that locker and closing the door? No, absolutely not. Now, I'm not saying these officers should have turned around and just knocked the fucking shit out of them. That would obviously be unconstitutional with our current laws the way they are. But they could have been like, all right, dude, like, what's your problem? You're acting abnormal right now. Are you under the influence of something? Seems like to me you're appearing to be manifestly under the influence of something, and it could be a danger to yourself and others. People don't come up and fucking normally do this bullshit. Like, what's your deal? You on something? So they could have stopped, engaged the guy, and then it turned into something. It could have either played into, if he was like one of those First Amendment auditor idiots, it could have played into his whole thing of baiting them and then doing something to make them look stupid. Or, since this guy had a gun on him, they could have stopped and be like, you carrying a gun? What is that? What's that in your pocket? And then it goes from there. And it could have completely prevented a shooting from happening, or the shooting still could have happened, but it would have turned out a different way. It could have been them sitting there talking to him, and then boom, he pulls out the gun. There's so many what ifs, so many variables. That's why I don't fully like getting into what ifs, because there's just so many variables. Even for the most basic incident that doesn't have a whole lot of moving parts, there could still be 50 different fucking outcomes, 50 different what ifs. The more complex, more moving pieces that go into it, you get up to the hundreds of different variables, different outcomes, different what-ifs. So I don't like going into it too much, but sometimes I'll scratch the surface a little bit and just say what if. But whatever. But something's odd about this guy, right? And they're just ignoring him and going on. It's not like it's that so important of a call that they gotta really go, or else they would have been running to their car. Right? They're just walking to their car. So it's not that serious of a call, in my opinion.
A shot goes off into the ground.
All right. So that right there, that tells me that this guy probably has no firearms training experience or anything like that, and he is negligently discharging his round as soon as he's pulling it out. He's probably never heard the terminology of indexing, doesn't even know what that means. He probably, as soon as the gun cleared the pocket, his finger immediately went into the trigger guard, because that is what he is used to doing. Always resting his finger within the trigger guard. That is poor firearms handling. That is very unsafe. Anyone who has received any professional firearms training knows to keep their finger outside of the trigger guard. It's called indexing. So as soon as he starts to pull his gun out, boom, some people would say he accidentally fired the gun. Realistically, he's negligently fired that gun, because he is negligently keeping his finger on that trigger. The only time your finger should ever go on that trigger is when your sights are on target and you've made that conscious decision to shoot. Otherwise, it is negligent to keep your finger resting on the trigger at all times. So he pulls his gun, he NDs into the parking lot, and then he actually makes that conscious decision.
The man then points the handgun at
to aim and fire
the officers in their car and fires one more shot. The bullet strikes the patrol car spotlight and went into the driver's side A pillar.
Now, why did he fire just one round? I don't know. He had a semi-automatic pistol. He was presumably capable of firing more rounds, unless he only had 2 rounds in the gun. Like, that's all he had left. If that was the case, I would suspect that we would see the slide locked back, but it's in battery, so I'm assuming he had more rounds. So why did he just fire one round out at them when he could have fired more? I don't know. But that one round that he did fire, he came really close to actually hitting the driver. Just a mere few inches to left or right, and it would have gone through glass. If it had gone just a few inches to the right, with how the vehicle was backing up and was slightly turned, there's a good chance that would have hit the driver. And look at the level that it's at. It's in line with the headrest. He very well could have shot that officer in the fucking face. It could have gone a few inches to the left, and because the car was angled as it was backing out when he fired, like that. Well, let me hit place for, well.
Gun at the officers in their car.
So boom. So the way it's angled, if he went to the right some, it could have hit the driver. To the left, it's potential that it could even hit the passenger from these angles, just based off what I can see from this one point of view. So super, super close to actually hitting these officers.
In their car and fires one more shot. The bullet strikes the.
They're lucky that it hit the A-pillar. So the A-pillar is a pretty big chunk of metal right in there. If it hit the windshield, it would have gone through. And hit the side window, definitely would have gone through it as well. Side door, if it hit through the side door, definitely be going through the side door. Contrary to what Hollywood tries to make people think, car doors do not stop bullets. Even the small, tiny-ass little .22 long rifle will go completely through a car door. No problem whatsoever. 9mm, depending on where you hit it at the door, it's going through not just one door, but the second door. Yeah, it'll go through from driver's side out to passenger side of the vehicle. No problem. Like I said, depends on where you hit. If you hit where some of the structural support for that door is, and then it hits in the thicker armrest of that car door, and then hits the thicker armrest of the other door, and then hits another structural thing, it might stop within the structural part, the little support beam thing within the door of the passenger side. Or it could hit, the seat and then the center console. But you shoot high enough right up in here somewhere, guarantee you'll go straight fucking through this door and out the passenger door, no problem. That's just 9mm. Rifle definitely going through. So they're lucky that the round terminated right there, because that is a pretty good chunk. Now you can get some rounds to go through that, but pistol, it's not likely, not gonna be happening for the most part. Super lucky that one of them didn't catch one in the face. He retreats inside for some reason. I don't know why he goes in there, but he goes back inside, and then the officers, back this up, come in. So I love the fact that he got his rifle out. Boom. He knows this is a gunfight. It is time to get the rifle out. Love that. Too many times I see these videos where officers neglect to even get their rifle out when they need to be getting their rifle out. If you're going to a gunfight, bring a rifle and bring your friends with rifles. Now, chances are that Carr could have probably only had one rifle and he's the one who got it. The guy with the pistol is just going to be stuck with a pistol. In my opinion, if you're going to have a vehicle that's going to be a two-man car, then you need to have two rifles in there. Or if not, then at least a rifle and a shotgun. That way both people can have a long gun if need be. I don't know how that car was set up. It could just be that the car was set up with one rifle. And that's what they got to work with. Rifles are more accurate than pistols. Rifles have a longer barrel, and there's more points of contact on that rifle to stabilize the overall rifle to make it more accurate. Less movement within the system. A pistol, very short barrel, and only 2 points of contact. The minimalist amount of movement with that very short barrel, just the mere pulling of the trigger can move the gun a little bit to the left and you'll be off target. Up close, it'll be off just a little bit, but as those distances increase, it's way off. Way, way, way off. The terminal ballistics between the two are night and day. Rifle cartridges are just downright devastating. They will rapidly incapacitate a threat and will do it faster and better, more efficiently than what a pistol cartridge can. Pistol cartridges are pretty weak. It doesn't matter what you got. 9, 40, 45. I don't care. They're all fucking weak. And they're all pretty much about the same. Rifle, like I said, night and day. There are a lot of people walking around today who've been shot multiple times with pistol rounds. And they're still alive. Still walking. No problem. There's not that many people walking around who've been shot multiple times with rifle. Or even one time with rifle. There's some. But they're very few compared to the ones who've been shot with pistols. So great thing he's got his rifle out. And I'll fast forward this so we can get a better view of that rifle. That's not a good one. Alright, so his rifle is set up. He's got a sling on it. I would have liked to have seen the sling around his neck, at least, sort of in a one-point type of configuration, but he went on without it for whatever reason, or at least it doesn't look like to me he's got that sling around his neck. Yeah, no, well, it's possible he does. I can't, you see that drooping along this way, so he might have it around his neck. You can't tell because they got the damn blur box around their heads. You know, it might be around his neck now that I look at these different angles. Yeah, so he does. So he's at least got it drooped around his neck. So this is a 2-point sling, and he has it around his neck. That's acceptable in my opinion. It sort of makes it almost like a 1-point configuration. You're almost kind of like wearing this rifle as a necklace. But that's okay because at least it's going to retain that rifle to your body in the event that both hands have to come off the rifle. You can very easily, in this configuration, just slip your, in his case, slip your left arm through, and then boom, you can now swing that rifle around, have it on the back, and use it in its intended 2-point configuration. And then cinch up the sling and tighten it up, and it'll be fine. Or still do the same thing, put the arm through, and then you can tension the sling on the cinch and have it tighten up to the front of the body. That way it doesn't dangle around a whole lot. Slings are like a holster to a handgun, right? It allows you to retain it to you so that you don't lose it. Just the same as a holster for a handgun retains it to you so you don't lose it. So I like how he's got the sling on. The rifle itself, can't see much more about what's going on with it as far as attachments go. We do see a red dot on there. Looks like possibly an aim point. Not 100% sure. We see a can on there. That's for sure. I can't tell if he had a rifle light on there or not. He should have a rifle light on there. Yeah. So he's got a rifle light on there. That looks like one of those Enforce lights. Not the biggest fan of those things. They just don't have the reputation that other reputable weapon-mounted lights have. Those Enforce lights are a little bit cheaper. And when things are cheaper priced, a lot of times people will gravitate towards that and be like, oh, well, it looks like it does the same thing. It looks like it's just as good. I'll go ahead and go with it. So looking at Enforce's website, I don't know which particular model that Enforce would be. I can't see it up very well. They've got a one weapon mounted light for $149, another for $119, one for $179, and one for $149. Well, when you take a price range of $119, let's even go with the highest one they got, which would be what, the $179? Let's say you take the $179 light right there. When you compare that to like a $500 to $600 Surefire light, Well, yeah, there's a lot of people who are going to be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to get that Enforce light. Some agencies, this could even be an agency bought thing. There could be someone in the office at the agency who doesn't really know much about guns, but they look at a Surefire light and say, holy fuck, man, this goddamn light's like fucking $600. Well, hell, here's these $100 Enforce lights. We can get 4 of those, or maybe even 5 of those, for what one damn Surefire light costs. Unfortunately, that's not a good way of finding quality things. Quality things are going to have a higher price on them. Now, there are some things that are materialistic and they have a higher price, like clothing, like the Armani and the all that stuff. Does it really need to be that expensive? Like, how much of a difference in their cotton threads are there from the cotton threads you get at fucking JCPenney? There is not that much of a difference, right? But there is that much of a difference when it comes to life-saving equipment. And weapon-mounted lights, you've got to spend that money on them, because they are not made the same. It might have a high lumen, high candela. It might work great under golf course conditions, right? But it's not going to be holding up very well to a lot of stress and abuse. If those particular lights were so damn good, why isn't our special operations units using those? Why aren't our industry leaders in majority using those? Why aren't the industry instructors out there using these things? Why is it that you see everyone using a Surefire or a Streamlight or a Cloud Defensive Light or a Mod Light? Why do the professionals use those? Because the reputation of those products is proven. They've stood up to abuse. They've gone through classes with 1,000 round counts. They've been on guns that have fired 10,000 rounds, been dropped, used in all weather conditions, etc. And they still work. See a lot of people talking about having problems with their Enforce lights. It's just not a quality light, in my opinion. The can on there. So this is something that starting to see a little bit more here and there. Starting to see patrol rifles have cans on them. Used to be the only time you'd ever see a silencer on a police gun is if that officer was a part of a SWAT team. Now, this officer could be part of a SWAT team, and this could be his SWAT rifle. Or he may just be a regular patrol officer, and regular patrol rifles are getting silencers put on them. I've seen it in some places, but it's not something that's caught on like wildfire. But it is something that is growing in more popularity, and that's a good thing. Silencers are like mufflers. They don't actually completely silence the sound of the gun, contrary to what Hollywood would like to make people think. It's just a muffler. Think about your car. Like, you turn your car on, you still hear that damn thing going, right? It's just the muffler on it doesn't make it sound so loud. Now, when someone cuts the catalytic converter off your car, or you have a muffler problem and it breaks, then that damn thing sounds super, super loud. Like a redneck truck. Like, loud as fuck. The silencer just muffles those noises. It still makes a bunch of noise. It's just not as loud. It's not as obnoxious. The only reason why they're called silencers is because that's what's on the patent. That's what's on the government paperwork for these things. A lot of people call them suppressors, and the word suppress is a more accurate description of what these things do than silence. But The legal technical term for them is silencer. But a lot of people call them suppressor, and that is more accurate. It just suppresses the sound a little bit. So the only way to get a gun to be damn near completely silent is to get a .22 long rifle weapon and lock the action on it so that you don't have any metal parts moving back and forth. And then you can fire one round at a time, and that's pretty damn quiet. You're still going to hear it, but it is as quiet as you can get. When you start getting up to your common calibers like 9mm and stuff like that, it sounds. I've always thought it sounded like a paintball gun or like a nail gun or something, something like a compressed air kind of thing. It just has that similar sound to it. The rifles, at a distance, they can kind of mimic those sounds, like a nail gun or something going choo, 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 that kind of noise, but there's more oomph behind it. They're advertised as being hearing safe, and that means that you don't have to wear hearing protection with them because it drops it down to a certain decibel point. But when you look at the decibel point that an unsilenced rifle makes versus what a silenced one makes, there's not that much of a difference in decibel drop. I mean, it's very minimal, but it drops it down enough to where it's safe for you to be able to shoot it without having to wear hearing protection. So that's what makes them so good for police work, because police don't have time to get the hearing protection muffs out and put the muffs on or put little earplugs in their ears. They got to grab this shit and go. And so the suppressor, when you fire that rifle, you're not going to have your ears ringing super loud. So you're going to be able to more effectively communicate with the other people there. You're going to be able to hear the radio traffic. You're going to be able to communicate a lot better. Whereas if you fire that rifle without a silencer, your ears are going to be ringing. You're going to have tinnitus. And aside from that short-term hearing impairment, it could cause, later on, long-term hearing damage. Indoors, when you fire a gun indoors, it is fucking loud. And so that really helps save your ears when you have to go shoot indoors. So they're really great for allowing you to be a better communicator. And when you think about fighting, shoot, move, communicate. Shoot, move, communicate. If you can do those, you are more likely to win. Communication's key. And if you can't hear your radio traffic, you can't hear someone because you just have that beep fucking ringing in your ears from fucking firing that goddamn cannon off, you're not a very effective fighter. The cans also reduce muzzle signature, so when it comes to night vision and stuff like that, that's a plus. You reduce the flash that's coming out of the gun. That way, one, your night vision doesn't flare out. And then two, it reduces your overall signature, so it's harder to see where you're shooting from. If agencies can get cans, you got the budget for it, do it. Highly recommend it. It makes things a lot better. Agencies don't have to go through a bunch of fucking hoo-ha bullshit to get these things. It's the citizens who have to go through a bunch of hoo-ha shit to get these things. The silencers are covered under the same laws that basically govern machine guns. They're NFA items, National Firearms Act. So to own a silencer, you have to submit to a background check. You got to provide fingerprint cards to FBI and ATF. They do the background check. You got to pay a $200 tax stamp to the government. And this process is not simple. It's not very short at all. Like, you go to a gun store and you buy a gun, you can walk out that door that day with the gun. To get cleared for an NFA item, there's people who are waiting a year or more to get clearance to take possession of it. So you could right now, today, go to your gun store who sells silencers, pay for that silencer, and you're not going to be able to take it home until probably a year or more later. That's bullshit. So you can get these things, but you're going to be waiting to get them. But like I said, the benefits are great. It's better for your ears. It doesn't cause hearing damage over time if you have to emergently use this thing and don't have time to put on hearing protection or anything like that. You know, home defense or whatever. You know, someone starts busting down the door and coming in, and you got your rifle in your bedroom and you have to shoot from your bedroom. You're going to be able to do so and not fucking blow your ears out. You're going to be able to fight, and then after you assess and scan and top off, then you can start talking. You can start calling 911 and be able to hear the dispatcher and not hear that damn loud-ass ringing noise in your ear. And then, several years down the road, you're not going to have random tinnitus that just fucking starts pinging in your ear. Alright, so enough of all... Okay, and I'll talk about this end, and then I'll start getting into their actions. So one is 6 years and one is less than 1 year of service. I suspect that probably the 6-year guy is an FTO, and this guy is on probation, and he's driving around. If not, then he's just off of probation, and he's been assigned to this guy as a partner. But probably, I would say, most likely, since he has less than 1 year in service, this guy is training him. Now, which one's new and which one's seasoned, I don't really know. I think the guy with the rifle is more seasoned, but because he seems to be more, taking charge or whatever. But I'm not 100% sure about that. But I do think that the 6-year veteran is training the less than 1 year guy. All right, so let's talk about their actions, because this has generated a lot of controversy. We'll replay this.
Get on the fucking ground! Get on the ground! Get on the fucking ground! Don't fucking move! Where's the gun at? Let me see your fucking hand! Where's the fucking gun? Stupid motherfucker! What the fuck's your problem?
Here is a portion from the second officer's body-worn camera, which is activated after the man was handcuffed.
We'll blow your fucking head off, dude. Make any money.
They want to get your attention, I promise.
Where's the gun? It's right here. Is that where you left it? Or you guys put it?
Well, you came in, I didn't know what you were talking about.
I promise I don't have no problem with you guys.
Fuck you, dude. Don't fucking shoot at us.
Sorry, I was trying to shoot over you.
No, what the fuck is that, dude?
One of the clerks from the by officers.
Ground! Get on the ground! Get on the fucking ground! Don't fucking move! Where's the gun at? Let me see your fucking hand! Where's the fucking gun? Motherfucker! What's your problem?
Okay. People seem to have a problem with this. I don't. This dude tried to fucking kill them. He's gotten everything that he deserves at this point. He actually deserves a lot more. But he had this shit coming to him. He tried to kill them. When they first come in, yes, he is starting to get on the ground, but he is not completely all the way down on the ground. So when that officer comes in and he uses his foot to get him to flatten out on the ground, he's just simply gaining control of this guy, because this guy has not completely done what he wants him to do. He has not fully complied with those instructions.
Video in its entirety. Video in its entirety.
So he was still in a kind of a push-up kind of position, had not fully flattened out yet. This officer's right here to him. If this guy was still in an upward position, this dude could have potentially launched forward and gone for this officer's legs. So this officer is simply gaining control over a person who has not yet fully complied with their instructions. He is slowly just going down. He may be giving the appearance that he is going to be complying and then decide to attack. They also don't know where the gun is at this point. So I have no problem with him using his foot to push him down to the ground to flatten him out and to rock his fucking world a little bit. This is a violent killer. He did not succeed in killing these officers, but he fucking tried. He tried to kill them. So in my eyes, he's a killer. So they are dominating their space. They are exerting their dominance over him and signifying, motherfucker, we are in charge. So two things going on there. One, he's literally taking control of him. And then B, that animalistic side of them is coming out. So everyone wants to complain about this. And they don't think about the science behind what is actually going on here. What's going on in their heads? Midbrain is a little bit more in charge than what forebrain is. Forebrain is what makes us human. It's the academic stuff. It's what allows us to draw all these wonderful paintings. It gives us the Picassos and the Michelangelos and the poets and the writers and the Stephen Kings of the world. That's what our forebrain does. That's what sets us apart from the fucking rest of the animals out there. We're just a more advanced animal. That's it. We still have our midbrain. And midbrain is like all the other animals out there. It's what the other primates rely on. That's what they've got. Just their monkey brain. That's what midbrain is. In fight or flight, that is what starts to take over. You incur some psychological and physiological changes. Psychologically, forebrain is starting to shut down some. It's not completely shut down, but it has taken a back seat, and midbrain is starting to come over a little bit more. So yeah, fuck yeah, they're going to be aggressive. They almost got killed. So I see nothing wrong with them exerting this type of dominance over this guy to gain control over him. And people say they beat him. No, they did not beat this guy. If they were going to beat this fucking dude, they could have got their batons out and Rodney King'd his ass. They did not beat this guy. They gained control over this guy.
Where's the gun at?
Furthermore, you see this guy starting to twist his body and roll this away. He is just simply using one of his extremities to gain control over this guy. He's got both hands on this rifle. He is multitasking at this point and putting his foot on this guy to press him down to the ground to gain better control out of him.
Let me see your fucking hand! Where's the fucking gun?
A muzzle thump? I don't have a problem with a muzzle thump. Some people do. They say that, increases the chance of a negligent discharge or shooting someone that doesn't need to be shot, blah, 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 blah. This is someone who, at this point, could still be shot, depending on what's going on. So, yeah, he is a deadly threat. This guy tried to kill them. They have not found the gun yet. They have not secured it. This dude is not in handcuffs. He's still a potential threat. So yes, they're going to be covering him with deadly weapons. Still, he's not in cuffs. They're still trying to gain compliance out of him. So he does a muzzle thump. Just one. If he was going to beat the guy, he could have took the rifle all the way off and then took the buttstock of the rifle and just started repeatedly banging against the dude's head. That would be beating him. Again, this is not beating.
I Motherfucker! What the fuck's your problem? Boy told me to go down and play inside the store. Hey, can you shut me down? You know where it is, huh? I don't know where you threw it at. Right here. Hey, don't fucking move, man! I don't know where you threw it at. Right here.
So this guy appears to be attempting to get up.
Hey, don't fucking move, man!
They're still having a discussion on where the gun's at. So he again is using his lower extremities, because both hands are on the rifle, to gain control of this guy, to get him to completely prone out and be flat on the ground, versus trying to get up or manipulate his hands to potentially go for this gun that they have not yet fully discovered where it's at.
Fuck is your problem?
Or even ascertain if there's more than one weapon.
Yes, one guy on like 59th Avenue, 22, just west. Yeah. Check this one. Wait a second. Hey, I won't go your fucking head off, dude. Where's the gun? Right there on the counter right there. He's already left it? Yeah, no, he came in. I didn't know what he was talking about. Hey, we need to... Fuck you, dude. Don't fucking shoot at us. No, what the fuck is that, dude? Let's roll fire for this guy.
I'm sorry. I can't do it. You're something you can tell me. Please stop.
Shut the fuck up! Take this on.
So, like I said, I don't have a problem with that, and I explain to you why. I will go to a news article from 12news.com. This was published November 1. Days after a video showing two Valley officers hitting a suspect, leading to them being placed on leave, the suspect in the video has been charged by the county attorney. Harry Denman, 38, is facing 2 counts of aggravated assault and other charges stemming from an altercation last Thursday at a Quick Trip near 59th Avenue and Buckeye Road. Court records show he's being held on a $50,000 bond. Police said the officers told Denman they were on a call and needed to leave. The officers were pulling out of the parking lot when police said Denman pulled a handgun and fired 2 rounds at the officer's patrol car. Police said 1 bullet hit the ground and the second hit the patrol car spotlight and went into the driver's side. It was at a Phoenix gas station convenience store where police say Denman fired 2 gunshots to get their attention. Yeah, he got their fucking attention, all right. Police said the officers told Denman they were on a call and needed to leave. The officers were pulling out of the parking lot. It just says the same damn thing. For some reason, that repeats itself. Documents 12 News obtained claim a witness told investigators that the suspect fired the shots to try and get the officers' attention for help. It ended with a video showing the 2 officers hitting and kicking Denman while he was on the ground. At one point, the video shows him getting kicked by one of the officers while he is handcuffed. 12 News also received documents revealing Denman has experienced several run-ins with law enforcement over the years. One, back in 2007, said Denman used a fake $50 bill at Fiesta Mall. An off-duty security officer tried to stop Denman when it said he pulled out a gun and pointed it at the officer and said, "You think this is a game?" He later pleaded guilty to the 2 charges of aggravated assault he faced. Now, that's in the article, and it does not talk about the other several run-ins with this guy. So this claim that he was just asking for help and trying to get their attention is one, completely fucking bullshit. This dude is unfucking hinged. He is a problem. Now, I would really, really, really like to know more about his several run-ins with police. Because this is not like an odd occurrence. right? As far as repeat criminal offenders being violent, repeat violent or criminals being violent. This is a recurring thing all across the country. Violent offenders get locked up, but they don't spend a whole lot of time locked up. Persistent felony offenders get locked up multiple fucking times, and they don't stay locked up for a very long time. They get out, and they victimize more people. And with attempted killings on law enforcement and successful killings on law enforcement, a lot of these people, a saddening number of them, are perpetrated by people who, had they been properly sentenced and locked away for the amount of time that the law says that they could have been locked away, the shit never would have fucking happened at all. Their ass would have been sitting in fucking prison instead of being out in the street with a gun that they weren't supposed to have to begin with and shooting at police. It is a miscarriage of justice when violent offenders and persistent felony offenders are getting out on one, they're getting their charges amended down. They get to take a plea deal and have charges reduced to something smaller. It is a miscarriage of justice when violent offenders and persistent felony offenders are given probation. It is a miscarriage of justice when these people are given parole. They've been told, oh, you serve 10 years, but you only have to serve 60% and then you're eligible for parole. And so they only end up doing 6 years. Or they do that time and then the correction system set up to where they can work in a prison, take classes in a prison, and have good behavior and have time reduced on top of that. There's people who get sentenced to fucking 10 years in prison and they only do 3 or 4 years and then they get out. What's the fucking point in telling them they got 10 years and then they only do 4? Makes no sense whatsoever. There has to be criminal justice reform, and not the way that the crazy ass rabid liberal left wants. The left just wants no fucking prisons at all. They want everybody to be walking. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking getting hard on crime. I'm talking you commit a violent offense like this guy right here. It needs to be a long time before this guy ever can get out of prison. 20 years. Minimum. 20-year minimum, in my opinion, that he needs to be serving. Ideally, I'd say lock this guy away for life because he attempted to kill them. That's what really realistically needs to happen. He needs to be locked away for life. He tried to kill people. Lock him away for life. But since he didn't successfully do it, at bare minimum, 20 years for sure. Not a day less. People who want to commit robberies against people, people who shoot at other people, etc. There has to be a mandatory sentence that they cannot escape in any way. They can't go take a class in prison. Like, how fucking easy is it to go take a class in prison? Like, what the fuck else do you have to do? You don't have a busy schedule, right? Like, where the fuck are you going? Your ass is in prison. So, yeah, it is super, super easy for these convicts to go walk down the hallway at the prison and go sit in a fucking classroom for substance abuse program or some other fucking bullshit. And they get time shaved off their sentence because they completed that class. That's bullshit. That should not be happening with violent offenders or persistent felony offenders. They have proven that they are a substantial risk to the public. They have proven they don't play well with others. They have proven they are a clear and present danger. They should be locked away for an extremely long time, if not forever. That, in my opinion, would drastically change the amount of crime that we are seeing in our nation. But unfortunately, we're not at that point. What's it going to take? Unfortunately, what it's going to take is more police officers dying. That's the sad fucking part. Before anybody will finally say enough is enough, more cops are going to have to die before we finally come to our fucking senses and say, you know what? These vicious fucking people don't need to be walking around anymore. Wherever you go in this country, if there is a vicious dog that attacks people, there's one or two options for that vicious dog. Either the court will order that that dog has to be kenneled for the rest of its life. You can't let the motherfucker out in the streets. You can't let it roam around the yard. You can't even take it on a walk to the damn park. It has to be staying in a kennel on that property at all fucking times. Or it's euthanized. A vicious dog attacks a kid. Those are their two fucking options. And some places they might not even have the kenneling option. It just might be straight fucking euthanasia. We seem to recognize that a vicious dog cannot be rehabilitated. You cannot take a vicious dog and, all right, doggy, come on, Rover, you're going to be locked in the dog pound for 12 months. And then we'll release you. But you got to be a good boy. That shit don't fucking happen. A vicious dog cannot be rehabilitated. A vicious person cannot be rehabilitated. But for some reason, we seem to think that a persistent felony offender, a gangbanger who has on multiple occasions tried to fucking kill people, oh, we'll give you a couple years in the pen, and then you'll be safe to walk around on the streets. Yeah. It don't fucking work. They end up reoffending. They end up victimizing more fucking people. We know what to do with vicious dogs. We just don't know what to do with vicious people. In my opinion, there needs to be two options. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense, thank you for watching.